Alright, so in this short video we're going to look at some methods for creating your R scripts, and there's a couple of different options. Note that in a later module we'll discuss R Markdown, so we're not going to be looking at that here, but that is another option. Alright, so you have to create your code in some type of plain text editor or within R. You should never write code in something like Word because there's hidden formatting, which can mess up the code. So never type code in Word. Do it in plain text. So here I have just Notepad up. That's a good tool for just typing any type of plain text, and you can use other plain text editors too. So things like Notepad Plus or Brackets or Atom or Sublime or any text editor plain text editor that you like. All right, so if you write your code in a Notepad document, you can just simply copy and paste it into the console to execute it. So for example, I'm just going to do that here with this first set of code blocks. So this is just, doesn't really matter what the code is, we're just talking about how to execute it. So dumped it in, hit enter, and it'll go through and run all that code. Alright, so and now you can see that it dumped in some of our output data frames and whatnot, so looks like it executed the code correctly. Alright, so that's one option. When I write in like a plain text editor, I generally like to run things as I go so I can make sure it's working, and I also like to leave in comments. So again, you just put a pound in front of it, and that is a comment in R. Okay, so if you're going to type in R, which is another option, you can either do it in like a markdown document, which again we're going to look at later, or you can just do it in an R script. So first I'm going to create a new project. So I'm going to go to New Project, and since I'm just doing a demonstration, I really don't need to save this. I'm going to say Don't Save. Alright, and then I can select a directory, New Project. I'm just going to put it in this folder on my D drive. Call it example rproj, and then create project. Okay, so now it's reloading, so now we're in a new project space. So if you're going to do a lot of work, multiple days, you're going to have a lot of different output, a lot of different code. It's generally good to create separate projects for separate projects. Alright, so I'm going to clear the console real quick just so we don't have all this extra text, and we hit clear console. That leaves us back at the cursor there. Alright, so if I want to do some typing within R, then I can do that again inside of an R script. So I'm going to go up here to File, New File, and then R script. And that creates this plain file. It's just untitled one. I'm going to go ahead and just do a save as so I can save it with a name. So I'm just going to dump it on my desktop, and we'll just call it example script.r. So .r is the extension for R script. It should automatically add that if you don't manually do it. Alright, so save that, and now we have a script file. So you could do the same thing. Instead of typing, I'm just going to dump in the same set of code here into the script. Okay, so note that you're not really running it, that it runs at in the console. What you're doing here is just saving it into a script file. Alright, so I'm going to hit run, and that runs the last line there. If you select everything, that didn't work because I didn't run the code above it. If you select everything, then you can run all the code. So that's how you separate out what code you want to run and what you don't want to run. All right, again, we're just letting it run here. Okay, and then again, we can see our objects pop up. We have some data frames and a value there. If I click on one of these, we can see the table. Again, it's always good to check your data. Alright, so let's say I wanted to save this script. I can just hit the save button here, or I could do it up here under save if there's something to save. And then if I wanted to save the project, you can do that also. So what I'm going to do is just quit. So we hit Q, Q. And then we want to save our workspace. We'll hit Y for yes and enter. And that's saving this project. So if we go back into it, we should still have all these data objects and whatnot in the script loaded in. So in short, my suggestion, if you are taking this course, is to type all of your code in a plain text editor like Notepad or some other plain text editor, or is inside of an R script in R. And it's also a good idea to create projects for your separate assignments and whatnot. Later on, we'll look at how you can use R Markdown to generate code and examples and text and whatnot, and reproducible documents. All right, thanks. So again, try to use this format as you work through the examples in the class.